What's up, studs, and welcome to Ask MandR, episode 381. On this episode, we'll be discussing the potential for a PlayScale Venator, what LEGO Star Wars designers have said now, the high-end LEGO customs market, and much more. If you have a question or topic you want covered on next week's episode, of course, drop it in the comments section down below for a chance to be selected. Don't miss the last day, December 3rd, of the MandRshop.com Black Friday sale. And by the way, my editor, Austin, is currently driving his entire LEGO collection from California to Florida, and I'm pretty sure this is like the first Ask MandR I've edited completely on my own in probably 2 years. So if it sucks, you know why. First, from Tim Boy, he says, in your recent video covering the new BB-8 set, you mentioned that he can give a thumbs up like in the movie. I always thought he was giving Finn the finger in that scene, which is way funnier to me in the context of the scene. I don't know how you came to that conclusion, because in the scene, Finn clearly gives him a thumbs up, and then it cuts to BB-8 going like this. Like, I don't know how you got to that, or how you, I guess, would have subsequently thought LEGO would include that in 2 LEGO sets. I don't know when you figured that out. I hope it was very quickly, because to just always think it was not that is wild. Good job. Mr. Cass says, I don't know if you saw, I didn't, but in the designer interview, the AT-AT designer said, quote, just because it's called the Starship Collection doesn't mean we only have to do starships. So I guess it's still called the Starship Collection, but they don't have to do ships, ... question mark. And that's clearly what's happening here. They are continuing the MIDI scale as it was, or intended to be, I suppose, back in 2009, 2010, but without giving it the name. And I always found it very frustrating about the reintroduction of the Starship Collection is that it presented this very issue, that either you can't do things that aren't starships, or that you can do things that aren't starships that are clearly supposed to be part of the same subline. It's got the same exact base design, for God's sakes, but they won't call it part of the subline, which would be silly. Don't get me wrong. They should not call a MIDI-scale AT-AT part of the Starship Collection. That would be asinine. But it should be called the MIDI-scale collection or something else. Like, it really should just be MIDI-scale to carry on what it clearly was carrying on from 2009 and 2010 with the Falcon and the Star Destroyer. And then if you really consider it, you technically have 2 others in this subline that exist in no man's land, with the MIDI-scale Nebulon B frigate and the MIDI-scale Super Star Destroyer. Neither of those are marked as being part of the Starship Collection or any sort of subline like MIDI-scale. Like, I don't know why, as a theme, LEGO Star Wars couldn't have, like, just called it all the same thing. It seems really simple to me. I know I'm just a guy living in his parents' basement, but, like, it's called the MIDI-scale. Get it right. Obviously, I find myself a little more frustrated about little things like this in the average consumer, but having a cohesive product like that matters. It makes it way cooler when they all have the same sub-branding, and now they don't. It's just a jumbled mess. But, like, it's LEGO Star Wars. Why are we surprised, I guess? But yeah, that was always the problem. It's not surprising that they are doing things that aren't starships, because it was silly to expect that, but it was then silly for them to name it the Starship Collection to begin with, given they could have pretty easily seen the writing on the wall that that wouldn't work out very well after a few years. XR Kush says, since the microscale AT-AT got announced, do you think of this as their own MIDI-scale vehicle collection or something different? Hope we're going to see a few other vehicles in the future. And I want to discuss specifically what I think we are going to see in the future from this. As far as what I consider it to be, I consider it all to be MIDI-scale. It's all under the same roof there, but technically it's not anything because it says nothing on the box. Let's check the website. The closest thing I can find is, quote, this set complements the mid-scale, not MIDI-scale, but mid-scale buildable models in the LEGO Star Wars Starship Collection. So it just calls it out as a complement to that range, but not specifically part of it, which is, like, again, my therapist told me very specifically to lay off being upset about MIDI-scale. But as to what I expect to see in the future, I think the biggest comp as far as, like, Republic vehicles is going to be the AT-TE. I think that's a pretty sensible thing to expect. I don't think it would be something that needs to be on a display stand the way the AT-AT is, so could see something a bit cooler or different there, perhaps. And maybe getting even crazier here with a truly wild idea, a MIDI-scale dropship with AT-TE could be even cooler. And they did a mini version of that as a Comic-Con exclusive in 2009, so I look at something like that and I don't see it as insane that you could have an AT-TE with a dropship kind of dropping it off and starting to fly away. Like, that's a potential set. Like, there's other random things I can think of, like the First Order Troop Transporter, but, like, that would be a really dumb MIDI-scale set. Like, nobody wants that as a MIDI-scale set. Everyone would rather have that as a play set. The Republic Gunship, I'm not sure if they'd label under the Starship Collection, but I think that would clearly be a good fit here as another type of MIDI-scale set. Jabba Sail Barge, I think, is a great example, perhaps the most likely next one that is not a Starship to join the Starship Collection. God, I hate it. Most of you may remember the rumors of a $50 clone turbo tank. Well, clone turbo tank could join the Starship collection. So yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of potential here, and I'm very excited for it. And I'm glad they've put this AT-AT out, because it now confirms what we all thought would end up happening, is that they will make more than just Starships in the Starship collection. Automatic Gamer says, when do you think LEGO will release a PlayScale version of the Venator? All of us Clone Wars fans would love it. And it's been since 2009, so we're going on 17 years since the last PlayScale Venator, and I think we're looking at a lot longer until the next PlayScale Venator. We just got a UCS one, and we got a MIDI-scale one, which in a way could definitely lead you to believe that LEGO is going to release a PlayScale one soon, because clearly they see the Venator as a popular, viable option for sets at the highest extreme of price, and even at $80. Pretty crazy, right? But like adult displayable versions of those sets. And hey, maybe the kids need something too. Maybe they will see that and fill that void. But in previous episodes, I have pointed out that LEGO seems to be a one Star Destroyer type of set at a time company. And right now we have the 2024 Imperial Star Destroyer. The next one in all likelihood would be Thrawn's Star Destroyer, given the relevance to the coming media of Ahsoka Season 2 and maybe whatever movie comes out of that down the road. So in the next few years, you would see that. And then maybe a Venator come 2030 or something. I think still a ways away. I wouldn't expect it. And if you're holding out hope for that to come in the summer or something, I'm not high on that at all. I would not bet any money on it. Show What says, I'm thinking about buying the PlayScale Razor Crest. Do you think it would be worth it to wait for a new one releasing with the Mando movie wave? Yeah, you're at that point where you should definitely wait. We don't have any concrete rumors that a Razor Crest is coming out for 2026, but there's literally a Mandalorian movie and the Razor Crest is in the trailer. They're going to make a new Razor Crest, and that's going to be another one that's going to join the Starship collection. I bet. I'm surprised it didn't come out this year, but a Razor Crest PlayScale set's definitely coming next year. Like, it just has to be. So you should wait and then decide which version you like better. Insane news from Veniam. He says, hey, have you seen that LEGO plans to block 36 countries on Bricklink starting December 12th? These include Ukraine, India, Israel, the UAE, and others, as well as practically all of Latin America. They'll deprive tens of thousands of sellers of income. Hundreds of thousands of buyers will also be unable to place orders if they're on the list of these countries. They announced this on the Bricklink forum. No announcements, no messages. It's all extremely messy. So I'm looking at the forum post now, and it's as crazy as it sounds. They literally went on Bricklink forums. It's not posted anywhere else. There's not a giant banner on top of the website or anything. It doesn't say it like if you go through like their things that are like, buy our Bricklink designer program sets. It's not like one of those where it's like, hey, big warning, 36 countries are going to lose access to our website in like 10 days. They don't tell you. It's nowhere on the homepage. Yeah, I'm scrolling all the way down. Absolutely nowhere, right? I don't see it. And this post is a giant nothing burger. It's like, we've just decided to close up shop for 36 countries. They put in FAQs that don't like answer real FAQs, like why and why and why. They put, I have pending orders. What'll happen? What happens if I want to listen? Will I keep my inventory? It doesn't matter if you keep your inventory because your store's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Who cares? It's over. Go home, I guess. I just can't imagine living in one of these countries, being a LEGO fan like I am, putting myself in your shoes here, and losing this amazing tool that allows you to buy and sell LEGO from other LEGO fans across the entire world. Like, it's connected people for decades at this point. And I think 5-6 years ago, LEGO bought Bricklink, and I just remember it being such a shocking moment within the community. It was like, LEGO now owns the secondary market, and I've talked about this in reference to like scalpers and things, and how I think none of it matters since LEGO owns Bricklink and like they're taking advantage of all of it anyway. So it's a pretty nihilistic point of view probably, but like it's reality. But I do remember at the time there was a lot of fear that LEGO would come in and increase the fees and do this and do that and change this. And for the most part, Bricklink has remained the same. They did not do very much to it. They added the Bricklink designer program, which seems to be a great thing that a lot of people love and a lot of people enjoy the products that come out of it. And so to me, I don't see any harm in that program there. Overall, it seems like Bricklink has been running pretty smoothly. It feels the same to me as it did 15 years ago or 20 years ago whenever I first started using it. I'm pretty sure my account's from 2007. I'm that OG. But now that has all changed, and in a way it feels like LEGO is imposing their will on what is otherwise a free marketplace for anyone to come and use and buy and sell for prices they please. And I saw some people out there with some wild theories like LEGO is soon going to set price caps and floors on things. And so I don't know about all that. Like, that would be insane, but like, one step up, one step up. You're a few steps away. You never know. You never know. But like, dude, this is absurd. I hate it. And it doesn't even really affect me, but it's crazy that Lego owns its own secondary market and is going to restrict people from that. Like, I think Sans pointed out that Greenland is one of the countries that is now banned from buying on Bricklink or selling on Bricklink. And Greenland is owned by Denmark, who is the country that Lego is in and where Lego is from. So how does that make sense? I don't know what else to say about it because Lego hasn't actually said why this is happening and why they've restricted it for all of these countries. But also I look at what they're doing with the influencer space and basically eating up all of the influencers and getting that control that they want. They're taking control of every facet they can. Like, soon they're going to be buying up third-party stores and owning all the third-party Lego stores that you see in your towns. Like, that's next, right? Like, that's the logical next step for Lego. I don't know. It's scary. A scary time. So obviously make your voice heard, most ideally probably to Lego customer service directly or Bricklink customer service directly. That is the only direct way. Like, maybe on Lego's Instagram post that did work for a specific Lego Star Wars set one time, so you never know. But yeah, really, really scummy of Lego, unless there's some really great reason. But if there was a great reason, they would have put it in their original post. And they would have hidden it away. I'm getting worked up again. I'm as worked up as I was about the Starship collection. So, dude, yeah, it's got to be some scummy reason if they're hiding it, right? It just has to be. Redstorm says, with the Tantive hallway retiring, what hallway scene would you like to see recreated next if Lego chose to keep the idea going? I think there's one scene we're all thinking of. Probably unrealistic to expect them to make this set. I frankly think the hallway theme might end here unless there is something I'm not thinking of, and I'm sure there are plenty of things I'm not thinking of, but just top of mind, that Clone Wars Season 7 scene would be what I think they should do next. Kate Craft Plays says, any thoughts on the Star Trek USS Enterprise selling out in a few hours? Do you think they'll make more Star Trek sets, and will it become its own theme? And I assume those follow-up questions are because of the fact that it sold out so fast. The problem is, we don't know how many they made. They could have made 1,000, they could have made 10,000, they could have made 50,000. And obviously, selling out with 50,000 is a lot more impressive than selling out with 1,000. And we just don't know which level of sellout it was. They could have expected it to sell out. They could have not been able to produce as many as they wanted to, and subsequently it sold out. The best example of a set selling out that Lego definitely probably didn't think would sell out was the UCS Falcon in 2017. I mean, I guess they probably just really didn't know how well it would do, if I remember correctly, but that was a set that they were probably very excited about selling out specifically. This, I'm sure they're excited about it having sold out. I am sure they're already planning on making another big Starship set for icons next year. But you will notice that Lego is very clearly doing something with these other themes, like Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings, where they're only selling the sets under the icons theme and maybe the occasional brickheads. But they're very specifically not doing full-on themes for every theme they touch on because they can't. They just don't have enough shelf space. They don't have enough designer space. I've talked about this before. And Star Trek, in my opinion, depending on your point of view, I guess, could be a casualty of that philosophy for Lego, not necessarily a benefactor. But from the other point of view that it's a benefit, it's that they are making sets like this that they would have never made 10, 15 years ago, you know, when they didn't just do all of these random things that they're doing right now. They mostly just did big themes, and there was no, like, spot, I guess, other than Lego Ideas, which came around, 2009 or 10? I should know that. But yeah, in my opinion, we'll see more Star Trek sets. It won't be a full theme. You'll just get, like, the big set every year, kind of like we see with Lord of the Rings, and it will continue like that until it doesn't. So next from the Senate, he says, most underrated 5-year run of Lego Star Wars for you. Mine's definitely 2015 to 2019. Don't know what we had until it was gone. Perfect builds and incredible minifigs. Just gets hate because sequels. 1,000% agreed. 1,000% agreed. There were a few sequel duds. Definitely the First Order ATST, and there were a couple of sets that you don't even really see in the movies, and those were always controversial. But for the most part, Lego Star Wars during this era was striving for excellence. They made everything as good as possible. They truly lived up to the motto, only the best is good enough. Every figure was just as perfect as they could make it. Every vehicle and build was fantastic. Probably for the most part, unless I'm missing some, but they weren't downsizing everything like crazy yet. You know, you look at the new BB-8 versus the BB-8 of that era. That BB-8 is massive. It only costs $10 more than the tiny one they're just coming out with, you know? The pricing wasn't all that bad compared to today. And you look at the UCS sets of the era. Now, there were a couple of bad ones. Of course, 2016 had the Death Star and Hoth, which are highly controversial sets in the history of the theme. But otherwise, in 2015, we got bangers like the Slave One and the TIE Fighter. We got the UCS Snowspeeder in 2017, followed by by the UCS Falcon, then the Y-Wing in 2018, followed up by Cloud City. Then in 2019, we had the Tantive, followed up by the Star Destroyer. Like outside of 2016, those 5 years for the UCS line were so good. I mean, you think back to it, none of them had any minifig drama or issues. They didn't have any deals with exclusivity or helmet warts and helmet holes on clone troopers and details missing. It was just perfection. That's all it was. It was just business as usual. And yeah, you're probably right. We didn't know what we had until it was gone, and it's really unfortunate. But yeah, the most underrated 5-year run probably is the sequel era of LEGO Star Wars, which is crazy to think about, but I probably should make a video about that because you're totally spot on. Because like before that, and this actually is perfectly the era that I split it up into in my own like headcanon, but before that we had what I consider to be the golden age, 2005 to 2014. And so I don't know how you could call that underrated when it's the golden age. And then prior to that, you had 1999 to 2004. And you look at the most recent 5 or 6 year run of 2020 to 2025, and it's the era of slop. It's the era of increasing prices and decreasing sizes. And there's so much just nonsense going on for no reason.
This is 5s. And I mean, this is a highly, what do you call it? Loved clone trooper. That this was the right opportunity to get him in there. So
wonderful. I love that. Okay, very cool.
No detail is left unturned. Every little garment and weapon and accessory is has to be perfect.
Poor quality prints, stickers being miscolored at every turn, and UCS sets for $650. Just pure insanity, you know? 2015 to 2019 is very low-key underrated. The golden era may extend to be a 15-year run. That was the true golden era, and then you've got the 5-year end caps. Yeah, that's probably about right. HG Matrix says, you have a LEGO link? Unfortunate news, because I bought the X Mansion over the weekend, and I would have totally used your link if I had known you had it. Besides that, hopefully I can snag a V19 for 30. Well, I hope you were able to get one. Those flash sales on Whatnot were insane.
It's about to start. The character encyclopedia with Palpatine. How fast will it go? It's up, and it is gone. Oh, here it goes. 5 minutes on the flash sale. They're gone. I honestly didn't think it was going to go that fast. I'm not going to lie. It has begun, $14. And they are gone. Holy crap, dude. Bunch of piranhas over here. Yo, thank you guys. That's cool.
They're gone.
1,500 people for 5 Death Stars, and it's gone.
So thank you guys for the support on the recent stream, but if you're ever looking for one of my affiliate links, I put them in the description of every video. I have my Lego.com affiliate link, my Amazon affiliate link, and my Rakuten sign-up affiliate link. And so if you use Rakuten, you can't use my Lego.com affiliate link simultaneously. Like, you got to pick one or the other, and ideally use Rakuten because then you're getting the cash back instead of me getting the 3%. But if you're not going to use Rakuten and you want to support me, then the Lego link supports me. You may also see the MandRshop.com link down there. Our Black Friday sale ends on December 3rd, so if you're looking to take advantage of any of the sales and deals and new figures we have, 2 of our 5 gingerbreads are already sold out, and one of them may be sold out, honestly, by the time this video comes out. And then we also have some new crafters. All the crafters are 25% off. The gingerbreads are 15% off. We've got tons of other sales and deals. We also recently redesigned the website, so if you haven't been there in the last month and a half, there's a lot of new stuff, new tabs, new products. We also added a sell your Lego button at the top. So if you're ever looking to offload some Lego, we're always looking to buy because we need stuff for our Whatnot streams, or maybe I just want it for my personal collection. It depends on what it is, to be honest. Some guy the other day sent in a thing offering to sell me the signage from the Death Star display at the Lego store, which I still need to get back to him with an offer for, but wouldn't that be cool to own? I had to get that in there. All of those links are always in the description of every video though, and so if you ever are wondering where's your link for this or that, you just click the one and it works. Like, you don't have to have the specific product link for like Lego.com to this product for it to count. You just use my link that's there in the description. Aileen says, do you think Lego VIP points will save more money for me in the long term as an avid Lego fan, or should I focus on finding deals on other retailers such as Amazon? It really depends. There's a lot of variables. So right now, let's say you can get a set on Amazon for 20% off. But also right now, Lego.com with Rakuten, it might be over by now, has 20% cash back on like normal Lego products. So your 20% is even there, even though you're not getting the 20% off like right at checkout, you're getting 20% back. It's all the same. But then you get Lego VIP points. So now Lego is winning the battle versus Amazon. Even though you're paying full price for the set, you're getting 20% cash back and you're getting VIP points, which is another 5% of value. And then Lego has promos, so you get even more value. And so in that case, you should go to Lego and buy the set. If it was the case where Lego is just offering you VIP points and a polybag promo versus Amazon is 20, 30% off, buy it from Amazon. You have to do the math. You got to be a little bit savvy. You got to know how to like really figure it out. I always write it down on a piece of paper, do the math myself, and it's pretty simple, honestly. You just figure out what value you're getting from where and you decide what's best for you. Jack Carter says, in your opinion, what is the worst or most inaccurate head mold for any Lego Star Wars character, not including helmets? And this question, I think, turned out to be quite an impossible one. Technically, you could look at early versions of things like the Gungan head, and because it's not printed, maybe, but your question specifically refers to the mold, not the print design on there. Even though it's devoid of any printing detail, it's still the same great mold that ends up using that printing detail to become an amazing piece in the late 2000s and early 2010s with Jar Jar and Gungan soldiers and warriors. Like, they look so good with the print, right? But yeah, that early version doesn't look as good. The earlier version of Plo Koon ain't so good compared to the newer version of Plo Koon. Maybe the fat Bib Fortuna mold being used for skinny Bib Fortuna in the Jabba sail barge would be a great example of one that is technically very inaccurate to its source material, but what it was originally created for, it's accurate to. So I don't know, but you get bangers like Bulio or Bistan or Dryden's Guard or Lama Su and Tan Wee and Queel. There are so many good head molds for characters that are just perfect, and that's usually how it goes because they're sculpted to perfection. They generally are just so dang good. It's hard to pick one that's bad. Maybe I'm missing something and I hate when I do because like there's so much to remember and I feel like I'm usually really good with remembering it all, but every once in a while I'll forget something and then the comments will be like, what about this? And I'm like, oh, I feel like a fool. Sesden says, I saw on Instagram you liked a post from Bagel Studio. What are your thoughts on high-end customs? Do you collect any of them at all? If so, do you have designers that are your favorites? So if people are unaware, there is an entire world of custom Lego figures that are very expensive. We're talking $100+ easily, if not more. Sometimes in the secondary market, they go for like $500 or $1,000. Who knows? I don't really keep up with it, but like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, exorbitant amounts. Like these I sell for $28. Some of these custom sellers sell them for just absurd amounts of money. Now, to be fair, some of them are pad printed. They have extra accessories that are custom molded. And I mean, technically our crafter heads are custom molded, but you know, they're much smaller production run items and there's just a lot more to it. That being said, I see a lot of people do enjoy that sort of thing and there's clearly a lot of value there to them. For me personally, I don't really have an itch to collect these really high-end expensive customs. I haven't seen any that I'm like, oh, I have to have that one, so I got on my way to try to get it. The other issue that this community kind of deals with is that a lot of the sellers basically run through pre-orders. So they'll do a pre-order and then like sometimes 3 years later, you will or won't get your custom. And sometimes they'll just disappear from what I see, you know, every once in a while, like every 4 months, I'd say, I see like 5 of my OG like Lego friends posting about how this guy is a scammer and you guys shouldn't buy from him. I swear to God, it just happens all the time. I don't think Bagel Studio is, you know, an offender here, but I'm just like in that space, it's what I see from time to time. Not even something I follow too closely, but it is a cool facet of the Lego community and it's definitely worth highlighting because there's some very cool things. They're just very expensive. The King says the Lego Death Star has been out for a while. Is it still a good set or do you have buyer's remorse? You're asking the wrong guy to have buyer's remorse. I don't have buyer's remorse about buying any Lego Star Wars set, at least the one of one that I want for my collection. There are certainly things from time to time that I buy and I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't buy that. But like to have one of everything, I don't feel any remorse. It doesn't, there's no emotion, nothing. The only remorse I have is that I let it sit on my table over there for the last month and it's just under a couple of sheets to keep it relatively dust free. I need to get a case for it or something. It's just sitting over there and it looks absolutely atrocious. I'd be more curious to hear from you guys that actually bought the Death Star if you have buyer's remorse. I really do want to know. Let me know in the comments. I'll do a pinned comment for that and just reply to it and let me know. While you're down there, leave your question for next week's episode. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button and you can check out my Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals and new gingerbreads on MandRshop.com right now. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully this video is edited well because I had to edit it.